Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we have another story about Twitter and Elon Musk and whether this guy here, Peter Zatko, could be about to blow up these lawsuits. So without further ado, let's get right into the story. Elon Musk's months-long effort to buy and then to get out of buying Twitter has been marked by a range of unexpected twists, that's for sure. Now, a stunning whistleblower disclosure from the company's former security lead, Peter Zatko, is almost certain to become a complication. As part of a wide-ranging, nearly 200-page disclosure sent last month to U.S. lawmakers and regulators, also sent to the SEC. It was exclusively reported by CNN and the Washington Post. Zatko alleges that Twitter has neither the incentive nor the resources to properly measure the full scope of bots on its platform. He also alleges that Twitter suffers from a range of other security vulnerabilities that it has for years been unable or failed to fix. Now, Twitter has defended themselves against this and criticized Zatko's allegations. Now, Twitter has defended itself and it's criticized Zatko's allegations, claiming they're riddled with inconsistencies and inaccuracies. I guess we'll find out in the end. Musk, who initially said he wanted to defeat the spam bots after buying Twitter, later raised some alarms that the company might be underreporting the number of spam and fake accounts. Although he had little evidence beyond his own experience, it was basically him saying that, look, Twitter's not being forthcoming on this. Elon Musk's claims basically boiled down to Twitter not being forthcoming on this. They would refuse to answer questions. They would give him data that basically didn't answer the question. So either way, they either refused to talk to him about it or they gave him data that nobody could use to actually answer his questions about the number of spam accounts on Twitter. Now, many merger law experts have previously said that Twitter actually had the stronger legal argument here. That they might actually win this. Now, experts have also said, though, that the success of Musk's bot argument will likely come down to, how closely the court judge wants to focus on the specific language in the contract, which does not mention bots, versus allowing basically Elon Musk's tangential arguments. I don't know if I would call them tangential because they are directly impacting the value of Twitter, and they also go to a possibly attempted fraud on the part of Twitter and executives at Twitter. But the new disclosure could also help bolster. But this new disclosure from Zatko could help bolster Musk's argument and actually could potentially encourage the court to pay closer attention to this whole bot issue. Musk's legal team could attempt to seize on these latest claims in the disclosure unrelated to bots, including allegations that Twitter actually made misrepresentations to regulators such as the Federal Trade Commission and the Securities and Exchange Commission about its privacy and its security practices. As additional reasons, both of these things could be additional reasons that he might be able to walk away from this deal altogether. For years, across many public statements and SEC filings, Twitter has made material misrepresentations and omissions regarding security, privacy, and integrity. Twitter's misrepresentations are especially impactful given that they are directly at issue in Elon Musk's contemplated takeover of the company, according to Zatko. Zatko, better known as Mudge, is a prominent ethical hacker turned cybersecurity executive whose career included stops at Google and the Department of Defense. So I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt on a lot of things. He was hired as Twitter's security lead following a major hack at the company in 2020 and fired in January of this year, a move he claims came after he tried to blow the whistle on internally about security deficiencies and possible fraud by the company's senior leaders. His disclosure paints a picture of a company rife with security vulnerabilities that threaten user data and platform's functionality. He's mentioned things like literally thousands of people having access to private data and issues with server security, issues running, many servers that have known vulnerabilities in that particular version of the software on them. His disclosure paints, he says could put U.S. national security even at risk. I don't know how that is, but let's read on. Zatko also alleges that Twitter's top executives have misled users, regulators, and even the company's own board about the conditions of its information security. What we've seen so far is a false narrative about Twitter and our privacy and data security practices that is riddled with inconsistencies and inaccuracies and lacks important context, the spokesperson for Twitter said. I always like that when they say, well, it's missing important context. Sometimes, yes, context is important, but when it's things like, well, hey, you have a bunch of servers running, vulnerable software, or you have, maybe half the company has access to private user data. Those things don't need context. Those things in and of themselves are improper and lacks security. Mr. Zatko's allegations and opportunistic timing appear designed to capture the attention and inflict harm on Twitter, its customers, and its shareholders. Security and privacy have long been company-wide priorities at Twitter and will continue to be. Again, I'm inclined not to trust anyone at Twitter because I think that it's pretty obvious that they lie to us all the time. They tell us that there's no there's no bias at Twitter, that they're not trying to silence one side. And it's pretty obvious that those things actually do happen. So again, when you read these kind of statements from Twitter's executives, you just tend not to believe them because, well, they lie to your face and they're gaslighting us constantly about these things. So why should we believe them? Why should we choose to believe what they say and disbelieve our lying eyes, huh? Now, while the disclosure could impact Twitter's standing with regulators, users, and even its board of directors, one of the most pressing immediate impacts could be on the case against Musk. After Musk last month moved to terminate the deal over allegations that Twitter has misstated the number of bots on the platform and failed to hand over information to help him evaluate the issue, Twitter filed a lawsuit accusing him of using bots as a pretext to exit the deal. No, they go directly to the value of the company because this is a ad-run company, and as a result, ad impressions and the number of people that are genuine people that are being reached is directly applicable in this case to the value of the company. Twitter has asked a court to compel him to follow through with the agreement, and the case is set to go to trial in October. On Tuesday, after news of Zatko's disclosure broke, Musk lawyer Alex Spiro said the billionaire's legal team had already subpoenaed Zatko in the dispute with Twitter. Of course they have. We found his exit and that of other key employees curious in light of what we have been finding. The stakes of the legal dispute and any impact of the latest disclosures have on it could not be higher for Twitter. The company is fighting to complete a deal to be acquired at a price significantly higher than its current market valuation, or else secure $1 billion breakup fee from Musk, and to do so as soon as possible to avoid a prolonged cloud of uncertainty for its business. Now, here's the thing, though. If it's found that Twitter actually misled Musk or misled regulators in this, then they could be the ones on the hook for the $1 billion instead. Now, Zatko told CNN that his disclosure is unrelated to the acquisition, that he has no personal relationship with Musk, and that he began documenting the concerns that would become his disclosure before there was any indication of Musk's involvement with Twitter. That sounds pretty important. That sounds like this is nothing to do, well, that like this started out as nothing to do with Musk. So if he can back that up, that's a pretty powerful statement on the side of Zatko. Zatko says he holds, as part of his broader stock portfolio, which includes shares in a number of individual companies, a small amount of Tesla shares acquired over the past 10 years, as well as a slightly larger stake in Twitter because his compensation plan there included stock. He told CNN he does not plan to touch either throughout the disclosure process. Zatko began documenting his concerns about misleading statements made to Twitter's board regarding security in December. Hold on. Zatko began documenting his concerns about misleading statements made to Twitter's board regarding security in December, and Musk first reported his large stake in Twitter on April 4th, before agreeing to acquire it later that month. So that's a big difference then. That's huge in this. And this is an incredibly detailed story that goes on, and it talks about monetizable daily active users. It talks about the incentives that Twitter management has to basically not look for bots very hard. It's in essence, they have monetary compensation on the line tied to MDAO. And so it could be in their best interests to simply look the other way when it comes to spam and bot accounts because it's tied to bonuses. So again, another issue that's coming out here that we're finding out about. And there's a lot of interesting information coming out around Twitter right now, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this going to be another smoking bullet for Elon Musk, or is this just a diversion from someone who really isn't actually, I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it. I don't even know how Twitter would explain this away. They explained it away with corporate speak, but they didn't actually address the issues that that Zatko brings up. They simply said, "Oh, you need context. You need context, right? There's nothing to see here. Move along." I don't know if I buy it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. In the meantime, if you want to continue to smash the narrative, then smash the like, subscribe, and share buttons, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.